Good morning, everybody. I'm live from Elgin, Nebraska today. Here's the plan today. I decided, since I haven't been back here in a long time, I'm visiting my parents' place, me and Lori are. Lori's got to make a run to her sister's today, so I'm gonna do some biking. But what I'm gonna do, I'm going to document the town of Elgin. Since we spent so much time at RAGBRAI going through all these little towns, it kind of made me miss my own little town. Now, Elgin, Nebraska is located in northeast Nebraska. It's about 750 population, and this is where I grew up. I spent my first 18 years here, went to high school here, had all my good memories of my childhood. But what I'm going to do today, I'm going to ride around Elgin. I'm going to ride outside of town. I'm going to show you some cornfields, some windmills again. I'm going to show you where I did, where I grew up, my high school, so where some of my best friends lived, and it'll just be a little overview of where I grew up, and hopefully someday all my grandkids can see this, and maybe they will come to Elgin, Nebraska someday to visit where I grew up. Anyway, we're gonna get started here pretty soon. The sun's just coming up, and what is it, about 6:30? So we're gonna get on the road here in a second, and we'll give you the tour of Elgin, Nebraska. See you later. Bye. All right, we're getting ready to head out. It's about 10 to 7. This is a picture of where my folks live. It's their house, their garage, and everybody's still sleeping. So we're gonna get off, and maybe by the time we get back, everybody will be up. We'll see you in a little bit. Bye. And we're on the horseshoe, and around and around and around we go. 1 mile long. Sure seemed longer when growing up as a kid, but this is what we used to run during football, basketball, baseball, you name it. Everybody had to run the horseshoe. We're gonna come up to our first turn here. First house up here on the right is where my good friend Dave used to live. Spent a lot of nights here, a lot of days growing up, playing Nerf football in the backyard, making up our own little plays. God, we had a good time. Over here on the left is the ball field. Spent all my waking days at the ball field during the summer. Played a lot of ball. In fact, a class that was below me and a lot of my friends all played on a state championship team from Nebraska. Class C state champions. What a great accomplishment, still is today. As we mosey down the street here a little bit further, another one of my good friends, Kevin, used to live here. Now, Kevin, I think they flip-flopped your house. I thought the front used to be over here. Now the front's on the opposite side. They've done some reconstruction. Across the street was my other good friend, Mark's house. He used to live here. So as you can tell, all of our friends, we all lived really close together, rode our bikes everywhere, did everything together. And we get up here, another one of my friends, Dwayne, he was a member of 15 children in his family. He wasn't the youngest. I think he was the third youngest. A lot of activity going on there all the time. And my friend Kevin, I showed him his house back there, but this is where he kind of grew up. This is the house I remember. There used to be an old shed here that was our fort. It's no longer there, but I remember that house very familiar. To my right is the football field. Played football for the Poke John Crusaders. Woohoo! This school here is the Elgin High Public School. That's right, we had 2 high schools in a town of 900 when I was growing up. That's just insane. Poke John was a Class C and Elgin Public was a Class D. So we never ever played against each other in any sports or ran against each other in track or anything. It's just kind of weird, but we did all play ball together during the summer, so that was kind of cool. Anyway, we'll talk to you in a little bit. We are now coming up to the town park. This is where we have the pool, the playgrounds, the tennis courts. Spend a lot of time here during the summer. If you're from a small town, all your time was spent at the pool. Either you're at the pool swimming, or you're just at the pool playground, or you're playing tennis, or if you weren't playing ball, you were at the pool. Still looked really popular. We went by here last night and there was just a ton of people here last night. Sand volleyball courts. This house up here on my right is called the Plantation. I'm not really sure a lot of the history behind it, but when I was in high school, I dated a girl that lived in this house. It was called the Plantation House. She's no longer with us, God bless her soul, but I did get to see almost every room in the house. Very neat house. Anyway, we're gonna jump on the highway here for a little bit, and we're gonna ride outside of town to $1 Million Corner and get some awesome views out there. So when we come back into town, I'll give you a little bit more of the town. Heading out of town. Whoa, what a view to start off this morning. Jeez. We got the sunset right away. We got some windmills. Some beans. The irrigation units are running. The birds are chirping. It's gonna be a nice ride. Kind of feel like I'm on Ragbri again. About 1 mile east of Elgin. The pivots are running. The windmills are running. It's like we're getting a little wet up here from cannon off the irrigation. We're gonna get a good shot of water. Stay cool, everyone. Beautiful. Oh my gosh. Look at the scenery, guys. This is unbelievable. I tell everybody, you see stuff on your car as you're driving. You see a completely different scene when you're on a bicycle. You really get to see it. Completely different views. A lot of people drive by this every day, probably think nothing of it. But coming back, seeing all this stuff, wow, it's gorgeous. I can't wait to see more. We'll see you in a little bit. Sun's getting bright this morning. It's supposed to be really warm today. It's supposed to be like 90, 93, 94 degrees today. So I'm glad I'm out here early. The road's a little rough right here. It was pretty good the first 3 miles. Hopefully it'll smooth out here once we get out of this water bottom. I'm sure it's from water runoff, but the views are still gorgeous. We'll see you in a little bit. And you can just see forever, can't you? These views. I don't know if it's just the morning, the way the sun's dancing off the corn, and how the sun just lights up all the windmills. But really beautiful. Having a great time. It's so nice to be back on my bike after Ragbri. Took a couple weeks off. Really missed it, but I'm recharged and ready to ride. Woohoo! Let's get ready to go. Love riding my bike. See you in a little bit. Who says Nebraska's flat? We got some hills to climb. Woohoo! Love my hills. Got some down here a little bit, then we're gonna head on up the hills to $1 Million Corner. Off we go. I like going fast. On my way to Oakdale, just past the $1 Million Corner, heading on up. Morning. Boy, look at the views. I think I'm on top of Nebraska. I'm gonna do some climbing up here. Has some good hills. Not as big as Lansing, but big enough. We're still climbing here. I think we're almost to the top. We'll get to see. I'm not sure how much we'll see from here to Oakdale, but if I see something really interesting, I'll show it to you. Yeah, we're bike shadowing again this morning. Can't get any better than this, so. I think we're done climbing. I think we're to the top. I don't know how far it is to Oakdale. Maybe 5 miles to Oakdale? I don't really know. We'll see how the road goes. As long as it stays pavement, we'll stay on it. This video is kind of out where another one of my friends used to live out here. Randy and Ronnie used to live out here someplace. I know their farm land is out here somewhere, but got to meet Ronnie a lot better in college, and Randy in college too. Such beautiful countryside. On my way back to Elgin, this is what they call $1 Million Corner. You can see a long ways from here, huh? We climbed all that coming up here. We get a ride down it. It's gonna be fun. Just met a nice couple over on my way to Oakdale. Mark Reisman's sister. It's like, whoa. And I did confirm with her, but Randy does live out here, and he does farm the land out here. So I knew they were out here someplace, and she was telling me that Mark's brother Gary just built a house over here, and it's nice seeing all these people that I haven't seen for a long time. We got to meet some people last night at a restaurant that we haven't seen in a long time, so it's kind of neat reminiscing. But we're gonna get back to town, give you a little, show you a little bit more of Elgin, give you a little bit more history from my point of view anyway, from what I can remember. But having a good time this morning. We're flying, we're going down the hill, we're flying. Woohoo! A little history here. We're not too far from the $1 Million Corner, but growing up, me and my brother and one of my friends, Dave and Jeff, we used to come out here fishing all the time. It's in the Cedar Creek River. I think it's the Cedar River. I can't really remember what it is. We used to ride our bikes out here, or bring our mini bikes out here, catch tons of bullheads, carp, and then we used to haul them back home and eat them. God, I don't know why we ate them, but we did. Disgusting now, but spent a lot of time on this little river, walking the banks, waiting for that big one to hit. Anyway, I'm gonna try to get my bike back in this little canal, but this creek used to run all the way back, and we used to get off and walk down the hills and get to the best fishing spots. Seems kind of crazy now, but that's what you did when you were young. We're gonna go back in here a little ways, see what we can find, see if there's any wildlife that's out and about. Blue heron just jumped out of the pond here. You see him flying away. Let's see if we can see a deer or something back in here. Looks like they just got done widening it. It's dirt, so it looks pretty dry. Let's see what we can find back here. Okay, I think we're about far enough on this path here. The bridge doesn't look the greatest. It's kind of falling apart. And we'll get off this dirt here. I'll tell you, you know, how you're in Nebraska or in the Midwest or on some crappy road. All you do is just look at the signs. Somebody always uses them for bullet or gun shooting practice. They're all blown to hell. Anyway, we're gonna head back on here and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, time to get out of here. Get back on the highway. Didn't scare up any deer. I thought for sure we'd scare up some deer back in here. They must be all bedded right now, but cute little area. Wildlife at its best. Anyway, we'll see you when we get back on the highway. Hey, Nebraska. Speaking to you, Nebraska. If anybody in the state of Nebraska would start working on the Cowboy Trail. Now, the Cowboy Trail is probably about 8 miles north of here, and we have ridden that Cowboy Trail before. If the state of Nebraska would get on that trail and get it hard packed, limestone it or asphalt, you guys are setting on a gold mine. People will come from all over the United States to ride that trail. This is just a glimpse of what you would be seeing on that trail. It's fantastic. You need to get out there and get that trail paved. That's just my word of advice. If you can do it, it would be great. I'd be back in a heartbeat to ride that trail one more time. One more piece of advice. If anybody out there is interested in riding Nebraska or seeing Nebraska, they do have 2 rides in Nebraska. One's like, I think it's a tour of Nebraska, and the other one is called the Brand Ride of Nebraska. Look them up online. They both run, I think, like in June, maybe May. I can't really remember, but we're thinking about doing the Brand Ride next year. We've heard a lot of good things about it, and look them up online, see where they're going. I know one year they did ride through this exact route and through Elgin, where they were treated with a wonderful view. So that's kind of on our bucket list. Well, maybe we'll check that one out next year and see if we can ride that one. But anyway, Tour Nebraska or the Brand Ride. Look them up on YouTube and see what it's all about. Getting closer back to town. A couple more hills to climb. A trip through town. And my mission will be completed. See you in a little bit. The center pivots will be running hard today. It's gonna get warm out. This part of Nebraska is really known for their center pivot irrigation systems. We didn't really see them anywhere through Iowa, but in this area of part of Nebraska, they're on every section of land. Getting close to riding into town. We'll be in town in about 3 minutes. Well, we're back in town. We'll continue the tour of Elgin from the park. Nice campground there for anybody who's interested in coming to Elgin. There's a nice campground. They got a nice pool right here. Go for a ride, come over, take a dip in the pool. Looks like a really nice pool. They've redone the whole thing. Looks really nice. We'll continue the tour down this way. And we'll get you some more shots. I have to get some shots of this. This is a little corn grain bin made into a patio. You can only see that in Elgin, along with a gas station pump next to his garage. Only in Elgin. Okay, history of this hill. This used to be called Bilt's Hill or Tarnish Hill. This is where everybody would come sledding in the wintertime. You pull them up. It was the largest hill in town. We spent every winter on these hills. Had a great time. And right up here, I had some friends that lived. We played some massive basketball games here. Mark, Greg, Brian, Bruce. This is your house. Remember it very well. Had a lot of good times there. The basketball hoop is no longer there though. Dang it. Heading up the hill a little further, I had a friend that lived right here. His name was Bill. Now this house was known for the wiffle ball tournament house. We played wiffle ball here during the summer all the time, non-stop. Had a lot of fun playing wiffle ball. This house here was where my Uncle Lyle and Aunt Betty lived, and their children Cheryl and Dale. Me and Dale played a lot of hoops on that, played a lot of wiffle ball. We did a lot of running together over the years, through high school and through college. We had a great time, remember every minute of it. Okay, we're gonna take you downtown, down Main Street of Elgin. See what's happening. Elgin sign coming into town. Welcome to Elgin. The Sinclair Gas Station's been here forever. Always remember it being here. They got a garage sale going on over here. Oh, it's their farmer's market. That's pretty cool for a small town. Got their things going. Downtown. Jerry's Feed's been there forever. I do gotta give a good shout out to here. This is Dean's Market here. He took over years ago and has done a fabulous job with it. It looks great. It's great for the community. They really didn't need a store, and I'm glad it's staying in Elgin. Post office, elevators. Yep, it's a farming community. Downtown. The restaurants are all closed, which is sad. I wish somebody else would buy them and take them over. This town needs a restaurant. My mom used to work here at the Elgin Review years and years ago. And my dad used to have a building right here, but the KC's bought it from him and they've converted it into more KC Hall. Liquor store has been here forever. I think we'll go down here by the church and up by my grandparents' house. That was downtown Elgin. Not very long. Sure looked bigger when I was growing up though. Seemed like it took us forever to get through downtown. Anyway, pulling into the church. We got a beautiful church here. This is St. Boniface. It's one of the most beautiful churches in the area. The inside's been completely redone. All new stained glasses. It's been clean. It's gorgeous on the inside. And next to the church, it's the rectory. Spent a lot of time as kids growing up here. Fathers playing all their games and stuff. It's a great hangout. Alright, we're gonna go over here and catch my grandparents' house. Well, I should show you where she... Now, my grandma used to live in this house right here, but she moved to this house in her later years after my grandpa died because it was a little bit smaller. But it's a nice little house. I'll take you to my other grandparents' house, but it's not in great shape right now. Hasn't not been taken care of over the years, but I remember it being a nice grand old house. That's how I always remember it. Well, okay, this used to be my grandparents' house right there. It's a shame that it's just a piece of shit now, but it used to be a nice little house. It's sad when you see things get crumbled and not taken care of and nobody cares anymore. But I remember that house being awesome. Spent a lot of time there growing up. Back at the ball fields, where I spent most of my days. We're gonna go back to my folks' place, and that pretty much wraps up most of Elgin. Give you a little history. Oh, one more house here. This was my friend Doug's house. We spent a lot of time there too. We'd hang out at their house between ball games. And this was the Yoakum's house. It's now my Aunt Sharon's house. Bill, Bob, and Joe used to live here. Then up the street a little further up here was Brian Hofer's house. And again, this is where I went to high school. Pope John Central. And it's also now St. Boniface. When I was there, it was only a high school. Had a lot of great times in high school. And some not so great times either, but... And then back to the folks' place. In this town, a little bit of history of what we did as kids. As kids, we all played sports. We all played baseball. We all played basketball. We all played football. We all ran track. That's all we did. We played sports. We always had somebody to play with. After you see me, I've been talking about all the places we've been to, all the houses I've shown you, all my friends. That's all we did all summer. We played sports non-stop. We did do a few other things. We worked. We detasseled corn. We walked bean fields. We worked in the grocery stores. We worked with our parents. Anything we did to make a little bit of money, but we had a great time. It was a small town. Spent my first 18 years here. Wouldn't change anything. Hopefully, you got a little glimpse of where I grew up, the town of Elgin. A little advice for people out there. Get out there and help your communities. Kids in high school, help the elderly. Get involved in your school and your community. You're not going to live here forever. I guarantee you that. Someday you're going to be doing just like me. You're going to be coming back here, remembering all the times what you did when you were growing up. And for the people that live here now, keep doing what you're doing. The town looks great. The people are great. They're all friendly. You should be very proud of your town. Elgin, Nebraska. The good life. Hope to see you all soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.